Yes. So Mike will.
Gameplay, let's go.
So this
W's in
is
the chat.
Khatun. Of course,
W's in the
you've
chat.
seen her in the
I'm just
previous
joking.
segments.
Ain't no one watching me.
She looks fabulous. Good job to everybody there.
Khatun.
But let's dive into gameplay. I'm going to get straight
Let's see what's up.
moves. So let's start with, moves from neutral,
Okay.
openers. So we'll start with
Light openers.
of course, the light attack.
Okay.
She has a light attack from all
12
directions.
damage. It's good.
Very nice.
Good light. It's pretty fast.
She has heavy attacks.
Heavy's 24. Okay. So you can guard break
As you
and
would
then.
expect.
As is tradition.
As is tradition. As is tradition as well. She has a zone attack.
Okay. Clean zone.
I'll do it on my side.
She's an assassin, so no hyper armor, unfortunately.
And now let's look at the dodge attacks. We'll look at them.
Okay,
earlier
is it something
from the
fancy?
usual. So she has side dodge attacks, side light dodge attacks. These are enhanced.
Okay.
Nice.
Continue your chain, which we'll talk about in a
Enhanced.
second.
Pretty good.
And she
15.
has a forward heavy dodge attack.
It's pretty clean. It's pretty clean.
Important to know that like the side dodges are on light, and the front is on heavy. There's
Okay.
very good reason for this. And I think we're gonna get into it.
We're gonna get into it
awesome.
in a little second.
I like how you're setting them up.
Yeah.
Pretty clean.
The anticipation.
The very final one that I'll
Jumping
show
attack.
here, just before we get into all the good stuff, is the sprint attack. This is on light attack.
Okay. Double.
Beautiful.
Does it combo?
Casey, you wanna do that on me as well?
I doubt it. Yeah, you can parry it. You can parry the second one.
It's amazing. It feels really badass.
So now, before you go a little bit into the basic change and we're right. So we have, as we've been doing for a little while, it's a 2-hit chain hero, but with a lot of like
What
little
y'all thinking, chat?
fun things.
It was good.
We'll go a little bit more into detail as to why we picked some of these choices. Just like it's gonna be super interesting. So Mike,
Let's go. So we'll start again from the light attacks. So like JC
Show us the
mentioned,
specials.
2 hit chains, light attacks,
Light into light.
direction of course.
Okay.
These are not enhanced, they get blocked.
yeah, block,
Well,
go.
here. And move to heavy attacks, same thing. Heavy attack into heavy attack,
Pretty
all directions.
Oh,
Pretty simple.
it's
So now
alright.
you're like,
It's
oh,
whatever, you know.
What is this hero, right? Like, there's 2 swords. I don't know what's going on.
What are you doing to
cool.
us here?
So one of the main pillars that we've been working on, we've been wanting to do with this hero, and it's something that I think the community's been wanting for a long time. Soft,
And what's that?
right?
Nothing.
So
Soft feints.
we haven't done
Is
like
this
a really
Aramusha?
soft feint centric hero in a long time. But it also
Oh,
can
this is
fill
literally Aramusha
other,
2.0.
Like, heroes that have a lot of soft feints, like Aramusha, for example, right? You would think, and I
Oh,
saw
gosh.
in chat a lot of people like even from the videos.
It's an
were
assassin
like,
Aramusha.
oh, this is gonna be Aramusha 2.0 potentially.
That's what I said.
It is not. And so, Mike, please
Show
go
us,
into
show us.
what makes her unique.
What makes her unique here? So soft feints, maybe just a very quick explanation of soft feints
Okay.
for the audience. Soft feints is not throwing an attack and cancelling it like I did there, which is the usual thing that you do with
Yeah, that's a hard
hands.
thing.
That is a hard thing. When we talk about soft feints, it's throwing an attack, but throwing a different attack during the startup
Yeah.
to essentially transition to that second attack there. So what JC
Those
is
are
doing
really
is
quick,
it's a
holy.
bit clear
I don't think you can react to those.
side there. JC throws a heavy attack and then soft feints into a light attack from the side.
Yeah, from a different stance.
From a different stance.
So
Very
it's like an
important.
enhanced
Same direction,
Aramusha.
It's in a different direction. Yeah. So you can do that with heavy attacks
Okay.
into light attacks. But you can also do that with heavy attacks into heavy attacks.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
Which
pretty
is
cool.
Something you right.
If people are trying to, pre-parry.
Like, has some soft feints into heavies, but this is the first time that we have soft feint into light, soft feint into heavies, having like a lot of focus on this.
Nice.
But there's even more.
Oh,
Even
okay.
more- even more.
Show us.
So with soft feinting, there's a couple of things you can
Okay.
do. There's one part in the chain that I'll mention first, just before we jump into more soft feinting stuff here. Is I mentioned before we have a light, heavy, heavy light.
So it's like a 2-chain
heavy
combo.
chain.
Alright.
You also have a light chain with a bash in chain, but
Bash.
you need soft feint.
Okay.
You can do this from neutral.
Okay, so this is like Genji.
We've seen lots of players going into chain and throwing
That's a clean
bash.
kick.
In this
It's a
case,
clean kick.
frightful kick. It's a kick.
Yeah.
An unblockable bash coming from the soft feint.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can do this from neutrals as well. You
Yeah, yeah.
can soft feint.
Well, yeah.
Into
So
this.
It's like the
idea
old
overall
Genji.
is that like anytime you soft feint with this hero and you go into either a light, a heavy, or that frightful kick, you always
That's a
go
quick
to
kick.
your finisher.
I don't think it's
So this means
reactable.
that I can do like technically heavy opener into heavy soften to heavy into heavy soften to heavy into soften to light and do however you want. So you kind of have an infinite chain
Yeah, like a pseudo.
as long as you use your soften constantly.
Nice.
So that's super
Okay, so
interesting.
infinite
It
chain
adds,
as long as you
another
use soften.
dimension to it. It's
Got you.
not just a regular infinite chain, which is something, by the way, while we're developing the hero, we tried to give her at some point an infinite chain. And with all the soft-feint options, it didn't really feel right. It was getting really complicated to figure out where am I at in my chain, what's going on. We tried a bunch of different things, 3-hit chains, all sorts of things. And we ended up focusing on this aspect because there's another part to her kit that we'll be seeing very shortly.
Ooh,
It's part of
okay.
what, the other thing that makes her really unique. But it's really interesting. One last thing before we go. I just
Deflects.
want to hijack the animation presentation for half a second.
Yeah, good
Because
point.
it looks
Good
too
point.
good.
The animation looks
And
good.
I want to give them a massive shout out.
Excuse me.
Look at those stance changes. When you switch your
Yeah, it's
stance
pretty
from
clean.
left to right, all the little flourishes, all the stuff that's
It's
been
really
going,
clean, actually, the
I'm-
stance
you know,
change.
I'm taking over for them for a second there, but you know they have crazy props
W.
there. This hero, the animations look amazing. There's a lot of attention that's been paid also to the soft feints, so that everything looks a lot more realistic. When we were designing the
That
hero,
looks so quick.
working very closely
Looks so
with the Moveset
smooth.
to make sure that we had soft feints that looked believable.
Look at the yellow signal on the top left. There by disconnect.
Started an attack and you soften into something else, that it moves very, very, very seamlessly. But it's really, it was really important for us.
Yeah.
And I think it's reflected really well. And there's a kind of fits with the whole soft. Yeah.
Exactly. So
What else is there that's kind of unique with this hero?
Now let's get to the first unique
Yes.
part.
Okay.
First,
What we got? What we got? What we got? Come on.
So this hero has soft fainting as kind of a dominant mechanic. But what makes it
Okay.
cool is you can soft faint into this
Whoa, 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 whoa. What was that?
fear and fury.
Yes.
So
Is this a
essentially
Pharaoh?
soft fainting into a dodge if you're thinking about input buttons. But this is a special kind of move.
Yes, it's a very, very special.
What was
If you've
that?
been paying attention, you would have seen the guard indicator show guard in all directions.
Okay.
This is of course an
Oh,
assassin,
it's a
which means that
it's a
if you
deflect.
attack an assassin,
it's a running deflect. It's a full guy running deflect.
Yes, so I'm gonna like throw a top heavy towards you.
Oh, gosh.
Also, like,
Yep.
they're
Let
gonna-
me move it.
Oh gosh, what am I about to see?
Here we go.
So, assassin, right? Important to note, I saw people when we were
That's
screaming
madness.
Deflects in chat. Yes, deflects.
It is deflect.
Yes, it's the first assassin, pure assassin that we've made in For Honor since Lucia, which is
Since Best Girl Nusha?
right. So
That's madness. Holy.
Khatun.
So you get a full guard deflect. You don't have enough to deflect. Direction, it just does it for you.
Quite a while ago now.
Yeah.
We've been getting
That's
more
crazy.
and more into like we can actually make assassins now. What kind of stuff we can do? So this is our first assassin for a long time.
Yeah.
Super excited, and she has the flex, and so we wanted to,
That's
on
cool.
top of it, make her special. And so what's interesting with that move there that we see that like she runs.
That's
over-
clean. Can you cancel it into an
The
attack?
idea here is that it's not full block; it's full deflect.
Hmm.
Similarly to what we've seen in the testing round that we've done, like not that long ago, right? With Keeper, she has full deflect frames for the entire duration of that move as she runs forward. Any
Okay.
attack that could be deflected, so unblockables, don't really count or whatever, but any attack that could be deflected will be automatically deflected. So, like if you want to try it out, like
Yeah.
Show us.
Do
Come
you
on.
want me to
Yeah,
the
just
attack? Yeah.
run
Here we
that.
go.
see, so I hit her
Ooh.
inside of it, she did a deflect. That's already like that works for any side, anywhere. If there's
Can
people
you-
around, I try to
What
hit
is
you
it?
while
Is
you're
it
running,
is it
it will
undodgeable?
deflect
Is it
you.
unblockable? How much damage does it do?
We'll get after that in a little bit. You can get like anything there. So it's really, really cool that to really have that deflect synergy. She's an assassin. You want to go
Come
all in
on,
the
show us. Show us.
It's also a pretty interesting move. You can target swap it. Clearly, with 1v1, it's kind of you don't really show it. But it's interesting to go. You can hit somebody. You can soft feint, and then target swap, run towards somebody else. Get into the
That's
mix
clean.
of the
So
fight.
you're gonna have to be really careful just letting attacks
It's
loose.
kind of crazy, so it's really interesting.
Okay.
The other part that's kind of cool with it is that you can soft feint into it, right? But you can also just chain into it.
Ah,
Light
okay.
or
So if
heavy.
people are trying to interrupt
Because
you,
of this, it
okay.
kinda gives her a lot
So
of
they brought a
freedom
counter
to
to people
when do I
interrupting,
use
not
this
respecting
kind
your
of
attacks.
extended
Okay, I see. That's cool.
what can I do with it? How can I use it offensively, defensively as well? It's kind of a the designer that was working on it. No, big shout out to him, by the way. Wanted to make something that was
Oops.
really attack as you defend and defend as you attack type of thing. but not in a conventional way that we typically have in Fortnite. It's not a superior block, it's not crushing counters or anything. It's a, yeah, I'm committing to a big forward dodge.
That's cool. That's cool. It's not too overpowered.
Scared, and it also ties in with...
Can you guard break out of the run though?
We were listening to Rafael earlier. And a lot of it is about like controlling people through fear. I don't know about you, but if I was on a battlefield and this crazy person with massive swords started running towards me,
yeah, but I'm Sohi. I ain't gonna be afraid. Catch this hyper armor.
Alright, so then Mike, you wanna run through?
She's just gonna deflect the hyper armor. Alright. Catch this guard break.
If it was just a run, you'd be like,
there you go.
Whatever. What can we get out of this one?
So out of this run, you can chain. Right, so let's go. That's default run, Fear and Fury.
Okay.
Out of this Fear and Fury, you can do a light attack.
That's cool. So you can cancel it into a light attack.
There you go.
10 damage.
Slash.
That's decent.
Yeah, so another big aspect that we have here that Mike is going to show us is it's really interesting that we wanted to really push the stance-based aspect of this as well, right? It's not just,
whoa,
I run, I do something. It's I run,
what was
I take
that?
a stance, I do an attack. So you have light, you also have...
You not gonna talk about that?
As well.
Yep.
So that is a pretty zone attack there.
Y'all ain't gonna talk about that?
Throw the zone attack out.
Right, so a big zone
I'm guessing
attack
that's the heavy one, which is unblockable.
But then,
Can you
so
parry that
already
though?
you have, like, a bunch of different options.
Because it
You
looks
can do
really
light, you can do
fast.
different stance. The light also chains more into it.
You can infinitely do that.
You can kind of have
Oh my
a lot of
god.
like running around there. What I would suggest is
Just guard break.
it's pretty strong, but it can actually be really countered. So we're not gonna go into crazy details here because I want to get people a bit of a chance.
You can guard break
But
it.
at the same time, we've carefully thought out the duration of these things, and I would say experiment with them a little bit. It might look like, oh, I'm going to do like, run light, run light, run light.
Okay.
That does not necessarily work as well as you would think it does. There's ways to counter it. We've put a lot of thought into how do you counter it, but how do you counter the counter as well. We have like a lot of thought.
What is this Uno reverse move? Counter the counter? What are we talking about?
If you land a heavy and you do Fear and Fury, you get different frame advantages that if you land a light and you go into Fear and Fury. So there's a lot of thought that was put towards this to really make it super efficient.
Ultimately, this gives you lots of options.
Yeah, exactly, right? The breadth of it is like the basis is we want to give players a lot of options. Yeah. We have a lot of player expression. How do you want to play her? What do you want to do? That's good. But then there's one button.
Oh gosh. What are you guys talking about here?
There's one more button that you can do while you are running. Actually, there's two more, but we'll show.
Is it a bash and a undodgeable? I mean unblockable?
You go that, go in, you can dodge cancel.
You dodge cancel out of it.
So it's the undodgeable and it's a bash. I can already.
Bash is coming at you. You can like dodge out of it. And you can do like a lot of.
I already know what they're thinking.
But then
let's go.
What do you do with that heavy button?
What do I do with that heavy button? So
It's the unblockable. It's the undodgeable. I mean unblockable.
Yes.
Called Bloody Wrath. Very aptly named.
Yeah, you can parry that.
It's an unblockable pinning move
Okay.
that comes out of.
Okay. It's pretty balanced. You can parry. I'm guessing you can also feint into guard break.
A little bit if you've played Pirate. She has something a little bit similar, but we really pushed it to the extreme where she would like use her sword and fail, and she can kind of use her gun or push back. But instead of just going, oh, we have like this, whatever, there's a lot more options with
Once
Pirate.
more.
Why don't you run us through with that?
More options is always good.
What are y'all talking about here?
We'll pin
What are
you,
y'all talking about here?
and I can follow up
What?
with the light attack.
Yeah.
Very quick light
Quick,
attack.
yeah, very, very fast.
What? You just got Centurion uppercutted? What was that?
Bit, but sometimes you want to do a light if you're in a group fight, if you're in any kind of situation where like, oh, I can't get stuck in that animation really quickly. Yeah. Throw out a light, you get out of it.
Okay.
Cool.
What's the heavy?
Next, you can pin and go into a zone attack.
Oh.
This is an
Is that guaranteed? That better not be guaranteed. That's 22 damage.
This is also useful in team fights.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So if you want to deal a bit more damage, people around you, whatever, works quite well. But then there's another one.
The bash?
So you pin somebody, and now you want to
Ooh.
finisher follow up off of that.
30 damage.
Yeah, this big damage
Jesus.
spins for quite a long time as well. Looks
That's
amazing.
clean. I like
honestly,
that.
Like our VFX team, our animation team again outdid
I like that a
themselves.
lot.
Big
That's pretty
blood splatter,
clean.
everything. Yeah, feel like she's getting there. And again, that's part of why
It's balanced. I like it. It's balanced.
from the fear aspect, right? The idea here is that she
That's
does this
really clean.
not
Holy.
because she's cruel, because she wants to be like violent or whatever, or she absolutely wants to kill that person, but it's also to scare people around her.
Yeah.
Because again, if you're in a fight and you see her doing this, like, I don't really want that to happen to me. So it plays into that fear aspect of what is important to this show, and it also
Really emphasizing that fear aspect of the Mongolians.
I don't want to spoil the shit, but
That was cool. You mentioned the VFX on it too. Did I see some blood splatter on the screen?
Oh, it's a
So
bleed
blood
damage.
splatter on the screen.
That is a nice touch.
Let me just soft feint correctly here.
It's a bleed damage.
Blood splatter on the screen. Nice
It's
curvature in the
Yeah.
blood there. on
Oh
the
wait, never
side.
mind. That's just some visual effects. That's pretty cool. W.
Quickly before the feats, though.
yes.
Before the feats, we have a couple of other ways we can get into this move.
Yes.
Because we did talk about the deflect earlier.
Yeah, so that's another part of what's interesting with this hero is that
What else do we
Bloody
have here?
Wrath as a move by itself, it's interesting. No, it's a big, it's a pin. It does all these things. That's pretty cool. But we wanted to go again, hardcore all in with this.
Yeah.
And to make it an integral part.
What are you
of the
talking
move.
about
We didn't
hardcore?
wanna go, you
What are y'all
have
doing
to
here?
do Fear and Fury to be able to do Bloody Wrath. It's pretty cool, but it's not really like the thing that we absolutely need to do. So it's also available in a lot of different situations.
Nice.
So for example, like
I'll throw top heavy, and you can start with the first one there.
so on deflect, you get it. Like,
Oh
so
my.
accidentally do it again,
Oh
like,
my.
like a different follow-up there. So every time you deflect, either from a normal deflect on the
Bro.
side, or off of
People who are good at
fury, you
deflects,
always go into
they're about to
the
cook
wrap,
everyone.
which is pretty cool. You also get it off of what else?
Guard break.
The garbage.
Guard
Whoa.
break on somebody puts you straight into that bloody wrath, and you
25 damage?
Exactly. Nice. Two note here, because I'm
For
sure
guard
there's
break, that's
people in
clean.
chat going, oh, this is way too OP. Don't worry too much about it. Every single version of Bloody Wrath that we're seeing, so the one that
Okay,
is
that's
off
clean.
of Fear and Fury, the one that's off Deflect, the one that's off of Guard Break,
That's clean.
two other ways to get into it. They all have different initial damage values, so that we can balance them accordingly. So that, for example, the one off of Guard Break, if you do the Guard Break and do the heavy follow-up, then what ends up happening is you deal like a little bit more, or like typical damage for a Guard Break.
25.
But if
It's
you do it
yeah,
off of
it's
Fear and
typical.
Fury, you
Yeah,
do
it's
more.
alright. It's good.
If you deal it off of a parry or a deflect, you do different amounts of damage. So that's really important to know here. That yes, there's a lot of different ways to go into it, but at the same time, the initial damage of the initial hit from Bloody Wrath is different depending on the situation. Nice.
Okay.
We also have it off of a parry, right?
parry.
Off of a parry?
Top heavy for you there.
Right. Okay.
You can follow up on that.
Yeah. So here.
Okay, so
there's
it works
two
off a
ways
light
to
parry,
do it.
not off a heavy.
Off of a heavy parry, it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
So you can do it again. I'll do it, and you can dodge it. Right. So it's dodgeable. Off of a light parry, however, it is. You can do a dodge attack.
Side dodge attack.
Yeah,
Yeah, here we go.
Right. So off of a side dodge attack, it's fully guaranteed.
Okay.
So again, you get good stuff
8
there.
damage, that's nothing.
That works really well. Again, really well.
Why would you just throw a regular heavy?
Also get a light, that's good. The other thing that's interesting is that
I mean,
just to mention
the zone,
off guard break,
like Sohi.
If you don't want it to have the entire time of the, because this is a pin, it takes a while. It's interesting.
Yeah.
You can still zone attack and get the full 24
Yeah,
damage.
basically like Sohi. I got you.
So we still thought it out to make sure that we have the whole setup here that works. That
It's
makes
cool.
sense
I like
damage
that.
values, so
It's
we
good.
have all
It's
the
good.
stuff. That's kind of interesting. So that's about it for moveset in general, right?
Clean, clean.
We're gonna
Pretty
go over
balanced.
feats.
It's
I'll
nice.
set that up, so I'll leave it to you.
Let's check the feats.
Fill the void a bit.
Yeah. So thank you, Mike. So a lot of our stuff we've been talking about, right? So we've been working on this hero for quite a while now.
Okay.
We know the hero quite well. We faced a lot of challenges building this hero, right? We have a softening hero. It's not the easiest thing to build all the time.
It's clean,
Make
it's
sure
clean.
balanced.
I like it so
We also
far.
wanted to make a hero that
It's
was
not too broken.
particularly
It's not too,
easy to play
you know,
after. There's a lot of options.
trash.
There's a lot of room.
It looks
for
pretty
different
balanced, in my opinion. It looks
we
pretty
also
balanced.
tried a lot of different things. I won't go into too much detail with that. But we tried a lot of different aspects, and not everything always worked out. Because this is normal, and it's for honor. And sometimes you go, I wish there was this, that. Doesn't mean we didn't try stuff, but also at the same time, it's like we need to make it fit within what's in for honor. So we ran into a small snag, so we can give the
Understandable. Okay. Show us the feats.
amazing person. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool. And so, so where do you see like like the inspirations we have for her? Obviously, first assassin in a long time.
Yeah.
And obviously we see these kind of like cool like pinning maneuvers that she has. So where do you maybe see her in regards to like the team comps and other areas like that?
Yeah. So in terms of team composition, because she has like she has really good access to that pinning move, right? To Bloody Wrath. What's interesting here, thank you. What's interesting here is that like she pairs really well as a gank initiator.
Okay, so a
heroes
gank.
that have a lot of big damage from neutral. I'm talking like really Shigoki.
Yeah.
Kiwi. That kind of stuff where you can actually like guarantee a lot of damage off of an ally pin. Those work really, really well. She's really good to set these things up. So she works really, really well with these heroes. She works well with like a lot of different team compositions. Again, big trajectories on her attack, so she hits a lot of people around her. She might be good. She's gonna be pretty good at stalling as well. So you
Yeah,
can get
pretty good
good
stalling.
points
Yeah, that's good.
and
That's
stall
good. That's
people
good.
to get into where you need to go. So she's a much more universal hero, but again, she's pretty tough to use effectively. So take your time.
Yeah.
You're playing with her. Get into what you need to get into, and really flesh out, understand the moveset. She's not the easiest hero to play, but there's a lot of really cool things that you have to get into that are amazing.
That's cool.
All right, cool. So we can look at feats now, right?
Right, let's check the feats.
Awesome.
That's a lot of
All right,
passive.
so, Mike.
So we're looking at feats now. I want to give a caveat. Like we've
That's a lot of passive.
messed with cooldowns, especially
Yeah,
for one
yeah,
of the
like
feats.
cool.
That's cool.
It's not just an instant thing, and we'll talk about that.
Even then, only the fourth feat as a cooldown, and we'll tell you what the actual
Okay,
one is.
first feat,
Exactly.
tier 1.
So let's start with feat 1. Feat 1 is a passive feat
Okay.
that you unlock. It's called Relentless. Now, we talked about soft lanes a lot in this hero. You will be using soft lanes.
But tell me you get a damage boost for doing a soft
lane.
lane.
However, once you unlock the Relentless feat, first one, it has no cooldown. It's a passive feat. No more stamina cost for your soft lane.
Yeah. Nice.
That's really interesting, right? Because we want her
That's
to rely on
crazy.
soft lanes quite a bit to avoid
Holy,
points.
no
Typically,
stamina.
When you have soft lanes, you have a lot of stamina costs associated to them. So because we want
That's
this
pretty
hero to
crazy
have,
for
like,
a
bit of
first
an easier
feat.
time, and we really encourage
Do you guys agree with that, or is it just me? That seems pretty crazy.
And this feat essentially just goes, you pay the initial cost. So if you want to soften into a light, into a kick, also which is interesting because usually those bashes cost a little bit more stamina, right? You always only pay the 12 cost up front for the heavy, but not the initial, not the extra cost for whatever you soften.
Which means more soft hits.
Okay.
Soft lanes.
I like it.
Now, as usual with all our new heroes, we want to make sure that the feats are
What's feat
synergizing
2?
with each other and the kit, right? Feat 2 is once again a passive feat called Brutal, and the way it works is when I land
A pin attack?
follow-up attack off of my bloody
You get a
wrath,
damage
so
boost?
off of the pin move, my damage is increased
Yeah.
20% for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
This
pretty
is a,
predictable.
it's a passive feat. It doesn't have cooldown. It doesn't reset immediately, so you will kind of have to wait it out and reperform. That's a hard word to say, actually. Reperform the move to get that buff. as well. So
Okay.
you see the glow on the hands.
That's cool, that's cool.
You'll see
You get a
the
damage buff.
icon there in the health bar.
It's like Sohi with the 6 souls.
Commit to that
He has to
wall.
commit to it, and then it doesn't last for super long. And like you said, you can't refresh it. This is part of what I was saying. Like it triggers off of light,
Yeah.
zone, or heavy follow-up.
Mm.
Right? So sometimes you might want to go. Oh, I just want the damage buff quickly. I'm gonna do a quick one. Go into light, works super well.
Okay.
You still get it regardless, but the idea is that like you again to play into player choice, into what we need to do. Super interesting, works quite well there. So that's really nice. Also, it plays into just to say, it plays into that fear aspect, right? We're talking
Damn,
about
they're
fear
really
again.
trying to emphasize
Here
on that
is
fear
lands
aspect.
that bloody wrath, does something, scares people around her. She feels like you're kind of worried. Oh wait, and then she ends up being stronger to make you more afraid to play against her. That's a big part of what we're building with these identities.
Hmm.
which is really
Okay.
cool.
It's cool. Exactly. And then moving on with fear, what goes with fear? It's intimidation.
Yeah.
And that is the name of feat 3. The way it works is whenever you kill an enemy, you will gain let's call it a fear aura.
Yeah.
An aura around you.
Okay.
It lasts for 10 seconds. It's stuck to you.
So basically
you
fear
have to-
itself.
And anybody inside, any enemy inside that will take 25% more damage.
It's
So
literally
based
fear
on
itself,
aura,
but as a
I
passive.
will have to
Okay.
kill you to
That's
check
cool.
this.
Please kill me.
So, yeah, I'll actually let me.
I'll go side.
This is like our PlayStation's JC.
Yeah.
Just try not to die. Let me just help. So you can
All right.
you
Yeah.
can see. Okay.
Executions?
So yeah. So
Oh.
big AoE around you. That's what's going on there.
Yeah, it's literally fear itself as a passive. Okay.
I will run towards
That's
showing off only JC abilities.
Yeah.
it's cool.
I have a
Cool.
special god mode in this game. That
I want to see what that
Oh,
fourth
that's
one's
fine.
talking about.
I see.
This is also the only way JC plays PlayStation.
Yeah, that's it.
What's that
But that's
fourth
the thing,
feat
right?
talking
So
about?
this feat, again, it plays on the fear aspect, right? You kill somebody, everybody around you goes, oh.
Yeah.
And then you get lower, you increase the damage you take, right? So it's a defense debuff. Those
Just
two
unless I'm
feats
blocking their
work
face cam. Hold up.
really well in tandem.
Yeah.
Essentially, you hit somebody, you get your damage buff.
Hold up.
Kill somebody, you defense debuff everybody around you, and then she becomes like an insane killing machine. She does like 45% extra damage, essential on everybody around her for 10 seconds.
Okay.
Very, very, very strong, super interesting. Not super selfish, so the Feat 3 is
There you
really
go.
not selfish at all. You
Yeah.
really help out your entire team. So you land this, if she kills somebody in a group fight, everybody's happy.
Right.
He's one of the few heroes
Everybody's
that,
happy.
Right.
you know, like, you know when you play the game, you play any game with you want to, you want to kill Steel, I'm going to kill Steel.
Come on, show us
Yeah.
the last
Please
one.
don't do that with her,
Yeah.
because then it'll actively hurt you.
Yeah.
It's always beneficial that she gets the final hit on somebody when that feat is unlocked. Every single time,
Yeah.
let her do it.
Okay.
Nice.
And then finally, Feat 4, right? So we're trying something really,
Let's see,
really,
what's
really
Feat
different
4
for our
about?
fourth feat.
This is another spicy one.
What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
PUBG team. It's called Ultimate Punishment,
Yeah.
and JC kind of alluded to
Okay.
it before. There's one more way
Okay.
to get access to your Bloody Wrath, and that is unlocking Feat 4, pressing that button,
And then
very quickly doing a lot of
you
damage.
do it straight from neutral.
What is this,
again,
Sogi?
something that's kind of interesting is
Whoa.
it matches the stance you're in, which is the first time we're
How much
doing
is that?
So if
That was
you're left
42
or
damage.
Right, it's gonna do the Bloody Wrath in that move, in that stance.
Did 42 damage.
And, it's parryable. It's 400 MS though, so like 400 MS.
It's like a light parry.
Pretty good.
Good luck.
Pretty much unreal.
Like I don't think anybody is able to.
Is it always top?
No offense to like our amazing pro players. That is really stretching it.
Yeah.
Is it always
What's
top?
also cool, Mike, is what's the cooldown on this?
The cooldown of this is 45 seconds, and that's unusual for.
It is very unusual, right?
that's really
typically
quick,
when we do
actually.
T4s, we do these big bombastic feats. You can think fire flash,
Oh no, it's any direction you point at. Okay.
right? All sorts of things that we do, like these pseudo cues for fourth feat that like kind of instant kills you. So we typically do really crazy big feats on tier 4.
I mean,
But
it's-
for this, we're trying
it's
something
alright.
different, and I want to see.
It's not
I want to
that.
get
It's not that
people's
bad.
opinions. I want to see. I'm going to
pretty
go
decent.
Reddit clearly because I
Sure. Yeah.
Reddit.
We love it.
But I want to see what people think about this specifically. Do you like to have a tier 4 feat that has it's a big impact on the game regardless, but it's a less explosive feat on a much shorter cooldown that you can use really often?
Yeah.
Something that we've seen players kind of ask for. once
Nah,
in a
low key,
while.
I like the
So
big
it's something
explosive
that we're
feats
trying out this
that
year.
last,
It's
that take like a minute to
super low
recharge.
feat. There's
Cause come on, it's the
kill
fourth
everything.
feat. It needs
And
to
then,
be
again,
something
You
impressive.
want to gank somebody, you just do this 400 MS, unblockable from neutral, really like hard to react to. Can set up a lot of damage, can set up a lot of good stuff, and it's available.
Okay.
Yeah.
Executions?
It's not like it's not that
Execution
you're
time?
gonna throw twice in a game, right?
Yeah.
It's like really awesome.
Very good. Very cool. Very cool.
That's the kit. Those are the feats. They are all meant to synergize with
What
each
is the
other, so we're
executions
looking
at?
very forward to seeing what crazy things people do, especially in team fights.
And as I said before, like I'm super hyped with this hero, honestly.
That's pretty cool,
This
actually.
lock button.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, right.
We'll stop playing.
So
That's a cool hero.
I'm super excited.